This ranked match was rather interesting, and not because I played it well. I spin around for a BT spike, but notice that it's a shipwreck seed, so I'm going towards there. My opponent is a bunch of numbers, 11111101, and that is Karate Baby. And I know that they're a good runner, so I know that I need to pick up the pace, so to say, and play more risky than I usually do. I know because I have 13 iron here, I can make shears, and I go to chop down the wood first just because I have a lot of stuff in my hotbar and would rather organize my inventory first before cluttering it with a bunch of leaves and wood and stuff, which is what I opt for. Now, right here, he gets an advancement, and the advancement is actually diamonds, which really confuses me at first because I knew that he got isn't it iron pick, but I realized that he must have gone for the map chest and gotten the buried treasure. Now this really scares me for a few reasons. Foremost, buried treasures have more food, so I know that he has a food advantage against me, and he also has diamonds. Now, that could mean one diamond, which is pretty much useless. You only get a diamond shovel, which isn't better than an iron shovel. You can get two, which is more useful. It's a diamond sword, which makes killing blazes faster. Or three, which is a diamond pickaxe, which could be game deciding if you get, say, 18 or 19 obsidian, but not 20. The player with the diamond pickaxe can just mine from the first portal, and very likely get better nether terrain for going to the second portal. Now, the one advantage I do have is the time advantage, because this guy took a bunch more time to get it. But as you can see, I'm losing that time advantage right now because I cannot find where my door is. And I'm looking around in this ravine, and I finally pick it up there. And he's already entered the nether, so both my time advantage is gone and my materials advantage is gone. So at this point I know I gotta lock in because I need to make up time somewhere, because I'm severely disadvantaged in this match already. Now, I do end up unpausing rather early, and the reason why you want to stay paused is if you unpause too early, the area where you spawn mobs is smaller, and if there's a very close bastion, then there's a better chance of mobs to spawn in the bastion, and it's really bad here because there's a crimson forest. Hoglins can spawn in this, zombified piglins can spawn in this, and both of those are quite bad to have in bastions. Zombified piglins are some of the worst because they scare piglins, and they can really slow down your route. Now, my rationale for unpausing a bit early was because I don't have an insta-bastion, and they are mostly RNG anyways. This terrain is kind of annoying to navigate, but I do end up figuring it out. I do see the bastion at some point. This guy I end up blocking off, and that's pretty funny. I do see the bastion right here, and you can tell by the way it is that it is a housing bastion. But I do have a problem. There's a bunch of terrain here, and I do have a lot of blocks from the shears, but I still am not quite sure how I am getting there. I then decide I'll just dig through this wall to get to the bastion, because I know I'll be entering through the backside, and on the left, which is usually where all the gold is. Do the cool boat tech, and right now he enters the bastion, and I'm assuming this is at a chest because he did not get the War Pigs advancements, which means you open a chest, and did get the Crying Obsidian and Obsidian advancement, so I'm assuming that he either entered from the front of the bastion or the top of the bastion, meaning that he likely found different terrain than I did. I'm entering through this backside here, and then just start the very standard route. Luckily I'm only starting my route not that much slower, only 10 seconds I think, maybe a bit more. And I know where the fortress is. I saw the fortress on the way here. So I know how I'm entering, I know how I'm leaving. And then this is just pretty much a standard housing bastion route. As for my food situation, I've got a bit of bread, a bunch of suspicious stews, and a bit of rotten flesh. The rotten flesh obviously isn't great, and I'm thinking that, I don't know what I end up doing, but I'm thinking that I should eat my stews before I eat my bread, just because, yeah, you can see I tabbed to my stew there, because that would free up inventory space, because freeing up inventory space is very important. I also have a bunch of other junk in my inventory that I'm going to throw out, like shears and kelp. Just waiting until I check a chest. Yeah, you can see the string didn't go into my inventory just because it was so full of random stuff, which just happens in Bastions. And here, this bottom chest has nothing. Like, I should have taken the arrows, I should have taken the crying obsidian there. Probably misplay for me to not do that. But I realized that I'm going to need to go to the top chest because I am not getting treads. Now, I want to keep some gold on me just because I know that there's going to be piglins at the top, and I would not be having any armor or any gold to distract. So I end up deciding to keep 5 gold. I intended on using this to distract, but I think I ended up crafting a helmet. Decide to just trade this and realize that if I have to leave on 16 pearls, then I will. I'll make it work. And I realize that he's in the fortress, so I know that I gotta pick up the pace. This guy tries to shoot me, but I just try to dodge him pretty much. And I end up opting to craft the helmet just because I think it's safer than needing to distract at this point in the run. And the terrain opens up here, which is really good for me going to the fort. I try to pearl hang there, but the terrain isn't great for pearl hanging, so I decide against it. I mess up the digging there, but the idea is you do that so you can be out of view of piglins while also being able to loot both the chests at the same time. And it is faster than digging into the ground next to the chest because you are digging 1 block and placing 2 instead of digging 2 blocks and placing 1. Now I decide to just end up running towards the fort just because of my low pearl count. I probably should have pearled here just because it would have gotten me further on the fort, but I end up building up just to save pearls, which looking back I should just probably pearl here. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have. At this point I'm trying to find the spawner, and what I should be doing is changing my pie chart to the game renderer, the same one that I use for finding map list, but I don't need to. The spawner's right here. But this spawner looks like ass just because it's intersecting with the other fortress. You can see like a third of it is just completely obstructed. Luckily I hear a bunch of strays here, and this just looks like the average Feinberg video with these strays I'm getting. And yeah, end up playing a bit more risky just by taking damage there. And I see there's 2 strays on the bad part, so I decide I'll kill this guy and then head over. Now, I realize that the rates are this good, and he hasn't blinded yet, so I'm thinking, oh, never fucking mind, he did blind. So, the rates were probably similar, but unless if they just really do not pick up in the next few minutes, I'm thinking that we're probably just even pace. Well, obviously not, just because he's ahead of me, but for pace once entering the fortress, pretty much. And I also see my second spawner, so I decide to just run there. Instead of pearling would have saved me like 10 seconds, but then I just lose a pearl, so I didn't want to do that. And I end up pre-placing the obsidian to build my portal. Pretty silly. I don't really think there's a reason to do that. And I end up getting my rods? Yes, I do. So I'm able to finish it. And then enter the overworld. I have trouble finding my fire charges. Usually it's better to put it in the top left slot of your inventory so you can instantly hotkey it down. Oh, I got 7 rods. I didn't even see. I end up crafting 10 eyes just because there's a non-zero chance I will be using 1 pearl or 2 pearls for terrain management. You cannot see my ninja rain bot. Let me move that. Okay. Yeah, there's a non-zero chance that I'll be using multiple pearls to get to the second portal chords just to like keep pace to make sure I don't lose. The distance is 1436. That's the Kuriwe number. And I think both of my eyes end up breaking, which is very unlucky, which means that I have 14 pearls, meaning that I do not want to use them if I don't have to, just because for the end having 2 pearls is good. And if I want to go for 0, then I really need to save pearls because I'm thinking about it and I'm like, this terrain isn't terrible. Like, I can run across the fort this way. I would rather have the time save of going for 0 than of going to second portal chords because going to second portal chords, this could probably save what, like 30 seconds if I just decide to rip 2 pearls here, but 0 cycle can save like 2 minutes over the waiting for the force perch. So I'm thinking that, yeah, 0 is much more worth it. I'm 24 blocks away from chords now. I kind of have a good idea of where they are. However, there's a Hoglin, which is annoying, so luckily I'm able to just dig down. And I'm thinking that, hey, this guy hasn't I spied yet. I'm probably ahead of pace. And I decide to go down to like 38, which is... Oh no, I end up digging down here. So yeah, this is usually where I second portal. You want to second portal lower than you usually do on in ranked, just because in RSG you could go a lot higher, like sometimes like very high 40s, but you want to at least be pushing 30 something for ranked because strongholds, if they're really low, you just will not be able to snap to them. Get a preemptive spike here, bottom right, and then I just see it there, just because it's jutting out of the cave wall because of Fyro's Law. And it's a 2-eye, so I only need to craft 2, and I have 3 pearls. So now I'm trying to prep for 0, but my inventory is messy as hell. And I'm kind of like panicking because like, hey, this is my chance to win. And then I accidentally throw out an extra wool, so instead of crafting 6 beds, I craft 5. And then my heart sinks because I know that he enters right here. And at this point I'm like, okay, I just gotta go. I have 6 explosives, you know what, screw it, I'll just hit the 0. And it's caged. So I'm like, darn, it's caged, it's gonna be much harder. End up pearl clipping, and it's front, which is really good. So I'm able to just hit my pearl. Pretty good pearl, but because it's caged, I still opt to go to 90 and do my setup. And he gets Old Betsy. I'm like, holy cow. This guy... Oh yeah, and that's probably why he likely went for 0 too, but the dragon flew away before I could even bet it. I don't have any pearls, so I need to boat down, and I tower up just so I can avoid the dragon's breath. And at this point I'm torn, because I do have a crossbow on me. I just do not want to do crossbow strats or half bow strats, because if you do shoot a crystal, the dragon can't perch for a certain amount of time, even though it does make the chance of perching later a lot higher. So at this point I'm just like, okay, I'll just try to get a fast perch, and I will just sort my inventory, eat, prepare, probably kill an enderman, because I don't have an ender pearl. I think I do end up doing that. Yeah, I try to anger that guy, but he teleports away, so I try to anger another one later. But yeah, missing the buried treasure at the start of this run was a pretty big mistake. But I think I did keep pace decently. But apart from that, the other biggest mistake was like inventory management and failing the 0 prep. I feel like the 0 itself was fine. I feel like going to 90 was a safe play, even though it does have like that chance of flying away. I think the dragon's gonna perch here, but I was mistaken because it just flies away. I also forgot to mention that there was a suspicious stew in the fortress I ate that was saturation, which did end up saving the run because I wouldn't have had enough hunger points to restore, and it helped restore my health. And then I think it's going here, but then it baits me again. And I think it's at this point where I'm like, okay, this guy half-bowed pretty clearly and is still not getting a perch. And I'm thinking like, did he choke or something? And I'm thinking that, okay, if he did choke, then I have a chance to win. But if he didn't choke, there's a very high chance he's getting a perch before me just because my dragon isn't cooperating. And I see it go in here, and I'm like, okay, I think it's going now. But then it just flies away. Again, baited like 3 times in a row, and at this point I'm like, okay, I can't pearl anymore, so meaning that I just have to run in. I guess I can if I want to make myself some armor, which I think I do right here. But I would rather just have the safety of being able to run in than to not. And then it's just dancing around this node here as well. Is it going? Yeah, it snaps here. I end up reading it to go in, and I'm preparing. Now I should have gone right here, but I wanted to do big damage, but the dragon breaks the bed. But he probably scuffed the one cycle as well, so he ended up forfeiting. Should I have won that? Probably not, just because I would have had to wait for another perch. But who knows, it was probably just not able to beat the game from his end. But yeah, I can win the game if I am not able to find the buried treasure. Thank you for watching.